I am so happy that you're here today because I am diving into that popular reality show, Love is Blind, the final episode. Hi, I'm Dr. Pam, therapist and passionate couples counselor, and today's takeaway is that breakups are brutal, to say the least. But what if they are also your biggest opportunity for growth? In today's video, I'm going to break down the number one most important thing that you can do after a breakup, and that is learn and grow. And I'm not just going to tell you how to do it, I'm going to show you exactly how to do so through the clips from this show. For example, Nick may not fully see how some of Hannah's criticisms actually stemmed from her inner pain. I'll show you how her concerns about him were also reflections of her own struggles, and I will share with you some of the insights for both of them. And Marissa, her heartbreak could either keep her stuck or it could help her grow in ways that she never imagined. I'll show you how she, and maybe even you, can take pain and turn it into strength, personal growth, and a fresh start. And I'll walk you through exactly how to do that. You are not going to want to miss this one. Okay, let's start with the breakup conversation that Hannah and Nick had, where she lists 5 concerns that she had about Nick, and I'm going to break down each concern and show you how Hannah might be projecting some of her personal challenges onto him. And I'm going to explain what projection is and provide you clear examples to illustrate this. And I'm also going to consider if there's any validity to some of Hannah's concerns, because relationships are so complex and it's about trying to understand both sides. So Hannah's first concern.
When I think back of like the very first like little incident we had with that like woman on the thing, and like I wrote notes, right? And this was my list. It was respect.
So Hannah says that she wants respect from Nick, but she may not fully recognize her own blind spot.
Because I taught you everything that you know. I turned into a boy into a man.
Throughout the show, Hannah has been demanding respect from Nick, but at the same time, she engages in behaviors that are clearly disrespectful to Nick. This is an example of projection when we accuse someone of something that is really our own blind spot. And again, it's not intentional. Hannah expresses a desire for respect, while at the same time, she is shaming Nick, which contradicts the very respect she is seeking. Instead of recognizing her own disrespectful behavior, she shifts the blame onto Nick, making it seem like he's the one falling short of disrespect. But that doesn't mean that her concern about respect is entirely invalid. And that's the complexity of relationships. Let me show you the complexity of projection and personal challenges and how it can make situations in your relationship so much more complex.
Was I a hot commodity in the pods?
We just talk shit about you.
That's good. That means I'm a hot commodity.
Yeah.
I want to see what the girls look like for sure. What these beautiful women look like.
Nick's comment about wanting to be a hot commodity and wanting to see all the beautiful girls was disrespectful to Hannah, because it implied a desire to seek attention from other women, which could feel dismissive of their relationship and her importance to him. Hannah's focus on respect was largely projection, though, because she repeatedly brought it up throughout the show. And while some of her concerns were valid, the intensity of her reactions suggests that it was much more rooted in her own unresolved feelings of feeling disrespected rather than just Nick's behavior. So if I were counseling Hannah, I would ask her, who disrespected you when you were growing up? Because chances are that's where this issue started. Her strong reaction to feeling disrespected likely stems from an old wound that surfaces in relationships for her. If Hannah were to openly self-reflect, she might ask herself, am I truly being disrespected, or am I reacting from past experiences? And the answer is likely a bit of both. For Nick to grow from this experience, he can reflect on why he tolerated being shamed in this relationship. As I showed you in previous videos, it happened so much. Understanding this can help him recognize his own patterns and empower him to create stronger boundaries in the future. He can practice asserting those boundaries by saying something like, I won't allow myself to be hurt in conversations where I'm being put down. Or he could say to Hannah, or in future relationships, I'm happy to talk when we can communicate respectfully, but I won't continue if I'm being shamed. At the same time, he can reflect on whether there were moments where he could have communicated respect more effectively as well. For example, he needs to reflect on his comment about being a hot commodity in the pods. We all need to reflect on the challenges that we bring to a relationship, because a relationship is a two-way street and growth comes from both people looking at both sides. So Hannah's second concern.
Delusional.
And let's see if Hannah is projecting.
Me and Ashley had a conversation. I was literally talking to Ashley about how I don't show you enough of my fun side. Like in the pods, like, I was the fun girl. I was so fun.
Right.
With you, there's no more fun. Like, I'm a fun ass person, and I haven't got to show you that because I've just been taking this so seriously and I've been so stressed out.
Hannah is concerned that Nick is delusional. However, as we watched, she expressed that she was fun in the pods, but hasn't been able to show that in her relationship because she's taking things so seriously, she says. It's possible that she genuinely believes this, but there may be something deeper going on here for her. This is why she may be deluding herself. Her tension in the relationship likely comes from a mix of wanting emotional safety and managing her insecurities and avoiding deeper fears. These behaviors often stem from unresolved emotional challenges rather than a deliberate attempt to control. Being in a relationship stirs her anxiety about not being enough and her fear of having her heart broken, something she voiced to Nick a while back by saying, "Don't break my heart."
Don't break my heart.
Instead of facing these fears, she blames her lack of fun on taking the relationship too seriously, rather than recognizing her emotional struggles beneath all of it. And Nick can learn from this experience by reflecting on how he responds when a partner tries to control or emotionally manage him. Does he silence his own needs to accommodate their insecurities? Does he take on the responsibility by soothing their fears at the expense of his own needs? Moving forward, he can work on recognizing when someone's emotions are theirs to process rather than his to fix by becoming what they want him to be. So Hannah's next concern.
Social awareness.
And let's see how she handles social awareness.
They're just changing your routine and what you're used to doing to be in a relationship instead of being single.
Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to take on all of those risks and challenges.
That's a risk and challenge.
What?
To have characteristics to be in a relationship. I'm asking you to respect me. I'm asking you to be not flirtatious. I'm asking you to...
But I feel like I do respect you.
Hannah introduced Nick to her friends, but instead of creating a warm and welcoming environment, she accepted that they were grilling him and speaking to him in a very condescending way. This shows a lack of social awareness and respect, because introducing a partner to friends should be about connection, not interrogation. However, we might also consider whether her friends were acting out of genuine concern for their relationship. That being said, instead of creating an opportunity for everyone to connect, Hannah sided with her friends and participated in the grilling. So, again, she's projecting about social awareness. Nick needs to reflect on why he tolerated being put in such an uncomfortable position. Did he feel the need to prove himself? Was he prioritizing Hannah's approval over his own self-respect? Moving forward, he can recognize that in a healthy relationship, he should feel accepted, not tested. And Hannah's next concern.
Maturity.
Is Hannah emotionally mature?
Katie, you're supposed to be my best friend. You don't say that.
Should I kill her?
Then her Instagram.
I'm happy with Hannah, and that's that.
Okay, that was just 3 seconds that you just explained, but why did you have a 40-minute conversation then?
She's a cool girl.
She's my best friend.
That's your best friend in the world. Why don't you go and ask her what happened? Why are you asking me?
Fiance. It's annoying. Were you guys talking about how fabulous I am, or were you talking about your past relationships?
Are we mature enough at this age?
Are you mature enough, Nick?
Hannah shows emotional immaturity throughout the show, often confusing responsibility with emotional maturity. That's why this is also projection. It's a blind spot for her. That doesn't mean that she isn't responsible for things like work and paying the bills. It simply means she may still be developing the emotional awareness needed to navigate relationships in a healthy way. At the party, her insecurity surfaced when she takes issue with Nick talking with Katie, despite calling Katie her best friend. She is clearly reacting to her fears and insecurities. Keep in mind that emotional immaturity is often rooted in trauma, and a person's pain rarely shows up in a pretty way, like we see in Hannah. However, that doesn't mean that Nick or anyone should accept Hannah's or anyone's hurtful actions. At the party, instead of assuming the worst, Hannah could have confidently engaged in the conversation with Katie and Nick, rather than standing on the sidelines feeling insecure. She might have joined in with curiosity or with humor, and she could have shifted the whole dynamic rather than letting her anger escalate. And an emotionally mature response after the party, she could have approached Nick and said, "Seeing you and Katie talk brought up some feelings for me. I just need some reassurance." This would have strengthened their relationship rather than creating unnecessary conflict. And emotional maturity isn't about never feeling insecure. It's about handling it in a way that fosters connection rather than tension. And Nick can use this experience to recognize the difference between a partner who communicates insecurities in a healthy way versus one who acts on them in a controlling way. And for Nick to learn from this, he can ask himself, about possible red flags in the beginning of the relationship. He can ask, did I dismiss any early signs that Hannah struggled with trust and control? And he can say to himself in his next relationship, how can I recognize when my partner is projecting their fears onto me? Nick can learn from this by recognizing when a partner's emotions are their own to learn and grow from, rather than his to fix. And this is her final concern.
And confidence versus ego.
Where is the line regarding confidence versus ego for both of them?
And I'm more mature than you.
You think you're more mature than me?
Yeah.
I'm
more emotionally intelligent.
This brings up
and intelligent.
Maybe sometimes like a level below you. You know what I mean? I just want to be treated as an equal.
I think you get treated like an equal when you start contributing like an equal.
Hannah's behavior isn't confidence, it's ego. So again, there is some projection going on for her. True confidence doesn't need to be announced, and it is not to be used as a weapon in a relationship. A genuinely intelligent and emotionally mature person doesn't feel a need to constantly prove it, and they certainly wouldn't use their perceived superiority to diminish their partner. One of the clearest signs of this is when Hannah tells Nick, "You'll be treated like an equal when you act like an equal." A truly confident person would not feel the need to say that to someone they love, because confidence isn't about control or superiority. It's about mutual respect. And Nick can learn and grow by using this experience to recognize the difference between confidence and egos in others and himself. He can ask, did I make a mistake about Hannah's ego? Did I assume that it was confidence early on? Why did I stay in a dynamic where I was being measured rather than valued? And what does a truly equal and respectful partnership look like to me? Relationships act as mirrors for growth, and both Hannah and Nick can use these insights to build healthier relationships moving forward. Okay, let's help Marissa process, learn, and grow from her heartbreak. I think Marissa's mom describes the pain of a breakup in the most heartfelt and honest way.
And you broke her. I had to help pick her up. She was devastated.
Anyone who has been through a painful breakup knows firsthand how it feels to feel completely broken. Marissa's mom also made a very good observation.
He should have been honest and man enough to tell her, I'm feeling a little bit of doubt, instead of reassuring her every single time she asked them.
This pattern of Marissa asking for reassurance and Ramses providing that for her started in the pods.
I think I'm gonna feel very safe and not feel like you're gonna run out on me.
No.
Which is my big fear in every relationship. My fear is like, what if you just stop loving me? I think I'll be like too much.
No. I don't want you to worry about like me like randomly leaving you. If I love you, like you're gonna see it and feel it like, you know, every day. Once I'm locked in, like I'm locked in, so.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I needed to be reassured.
The lesson for Marissa is this. From the very beginning, she was seeking reassurance regarding her fears, whether she would be too much and whether Ramses would stay. Instead of feeling secure within herself, she relied on his reassurance to ease her worries and her fears. And while Ramses reassured her in that moment, it set a pattern for their relationship, for both of them. One where she looked to him for emotional security rather than building it within herself, and him taking on the burden of constantly reassuring her. This isn't about blame. It's about recognizing a deeper truth. True security in a relationship comes from self-trust, not just a partner's reassurance. Marissa has the opportunity to reflect on why she needed that reassurance so early on and how she can cultivate a sense of worth and stability within herself moving forward. And Ramses can ask himself why he felt the need to provide reassurance again, especially so early in getting to know one another. Promising he wouldn't leave after just a couple of weeks may have created a false sense of security rather than building trust naturally over time. Relationships are never a guarantee. They are, though, an investment, a commitment to growth, and a willingness to navigate challenges together. Real reassurance comes not from premature promises, but from consistent actions and mutual understanding.
I'm willing to be like unhappy for probably 5 to 7 years before I go for a divorce.
5
to
7 years?
I know that's a long time, but like there's gonna be periods of your life where you're unhappy or like things
Wait,
are
5 to 7 years of being unhappy, like that's a long time. Like I understand where your heart is, like you want to be willing to work through whatever.
but not like straight to divorce. Like, and my family, none of the dads really stuck around.
Yeah.
After the pods, Marissa continues to seek reassurance in another attempt to ask for a guarantee that Ramses is not going anywhere. You can see the sadness in her face when she mentions that dads didn't stick around in her family. It's a deep-rooted fear of abandonment surfacing for her. But instead of addressing that fear within herself, she is placing that burden on Ramses to provide the security she craves. The insight here is that no partner can heal the wounds of our past. While reassurance can be comforting in the moment, true healing comes from within us. Marissa's challenge is to recognize this pattern and focus on strengthening her own sense of security rather than seeking it externally from someone else. And I know this is so very hard to do, but if she doesn't do this work, she will sadly continue to repeat these patterns in her relationships and miss the opportunity to build true confidence and emotional security within herself. And next, Ramses shares something painfully important that may have played a role in why he ended their relationship. But first, remember this.
You ever think I'll be like too much?
And now after the breakup, Ramses says this.
And I realized and recognized that if I move forward with Marissa, every day I would be in a place where I would feel exhausted and overwhelmed.
I know how incredibly hard that had to be for Marissa to hear, and she likely disagrees with it.
She deserves a person. And
she whispers, "I think I hate him." Marissa's biggest fear came true. Ramses, in his own words, confirmed for her that she was too much for him. While we don't know exactly what Marissa meant when she asked, "Am I going to be too much?" or even what specifically exhausted or overwhelmed Ramses. But this moment offers Marissa a powerful opportunity for self-reflection. And I know she is feeling so hurt and so rejected, but she can also use his feedback as a clue to better understand herself. And as she self-reflects, she may discover that she disagrees with Ramses's use of words exhausting and overwhelming. It's always challenging to sort out whether someone is projecting onto us, as I showed you with Nick and Hannah, meaning whether they are accusing us of something that is actually a reflection of their own blind spot. Or is there a kernel of truth in someone's words that could offer us valuable insight into ourselves? So Marissa can reflect by asking herself, why do I worry that I will be too much? Where does that fear come from? What does being too much even mean to me? If she can explore these questions, Marissa can uncover the deeper beliefs driving her anxiety in relationships and begin to shift them so that instead of fearing that she's too much, she can embrace who she truly is with confidence. And one more self-reflection for Marissa that is so important and may be a trigger that she's likely not aware of.
You're not Nick, okay? You said some mean shit. It got back. Ramses, you want to sit there quietly? Go figure. Like, you know what he said. You know what he said. And it's like, we're going to be the bad people for attacking.
Right, like,
we're just saying the truth.
Marissa's upset that Nick isn't taking ownership of his words, which makes sense. She wants to stand up for her friend. However, her strong reaction is likely influenced by her past experiences of being abandoned and witnessing men in her life like her father avoid accountability. If Marissa recognizes this, she can separate her painful history from the present situation. That is the challenge of being triggered for all of us. Instead of reacting solely from the past, our past wounds, she can ask herself, am I responding to Nick, or am I also reacting to a deeper pain from my past? This awareness can help her approach situations with clarity and emotional balance rather than allowing old wounds to dictate her reactions to people. Breakups challenge us in ways we never expect, but they can also offer us a rare opportunity for personal growth. The truth is, relationships reflect back to us what we most need to heal. And when we pay attention, even the most painful endings can become the start of something better, not just in love, but within ourselves. And this self-reflection and growth is not to be done through self-judgment or shaming ourselves, but through self-compassion and understanding. When I am working with someone in the counseling room and they are judging or shaming themselves, I always say to them, please don't judge yourself. Let's just try to understand what's going on for you, whatever that might be. And that's when the magic happens, and they are able to choose understanding over judgment and gain the most incredible self-awareness and insight and ultimately personal growth. Okay, that's a wrap on Love is Blind Season 7. But great news, Season 8 kicks off on February 14th. How fitting for Valentine's Day. And I will be back with fresh insights and key takeaways from each episode. So stay tuned. And let me know in the comments section, have you ever realized something profound about yourself after a breakup? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on love, relationships, and personal growth. See you next time.